Good evening. I'd like to call the May 20th, 2021 voting session to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
and justice for all. Colleen, will you please call roll?
Ms. Ambrose,
Present.
Mr. Bloom,
Here.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Moab,
Here.
Mr. O'Neill,
Here.
Mr. Ross,
Here.
Dr. Eunice, Mr. Zaritsky,
Here.
Ms. Belcastro.
Here. We will go to public comments.
I believe you received 3 public comments. I'll read them here. In addition to any that might come up on the sheet, though I don't see any yet. The first is from Terry and Cindy Phillips. Hello, we are writing on behalf of a growing number of concerned parents. We are requesting the school board change its decision to continue the draconian mask requirement for students and staff. The decision to maintain the masking requirement is in direct violation of unalienable rights, the Constitution, civil rights, medical and religious freedom, child abuse laws, emergency use authorization, the Nuremberg Code, OSHA regulations, and informed consent. These laws supersede any orders, guidance, requirements, and protect individuals. The current lack of willingness to permit children the freedom to interact in a healthy, normal manner by making masks optional for the last 12 days is illegal, despicable, and irresponsible. Are you aware you are liable for short and long-term deficits that result from your decision? There is no research or data to support your decision. There are no laws to support your decision. Emergency orders expired, yet there is unlimited proof that masks are ineffective and significantly detrimental. We request that our elected public servants, the Central Valley School District Board, schools across the country and even in our area have done, and give permission for mask choice for the remainder of the school year. As we mentioned in the meetings, the only change to the mask mandate has been that mask mandate no longer specifically applies to those individuals who are fully vaccinated, which is defined as receiving the two doses of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine or one of the Johnson vaccine. That is it tracks the CDC guidance, which the Secretary of Health's order was pegged to. My understanding is that the district, as it is able to do as a reasonable health measure, has decided for the remainder of the school year to require all individuals to continue wearing masks. I believe, Nick, you mentioned that policy is pretty uniform throughout Beaver County.
Correct. Every district across the county is continuing the mask mandate, as I know it.
My further understanding is that this will be reassessed come the beginning of next school year based on other existing public health guidance and mandates at that time.
Yes, absolutely.
Does the board have any questions on that before we move on? Just want to make sure we're all on the same page there. Okay. Second is from Rachel Schwer, 123 York Way, Monaca. Dr. Perry mentioned in the last meeting that the teachers have been surveyed regarding the synchronous model. Will the results of the survey be made public? When will the students and parents be surveyed?
So yes, we did indeed in our last in-service day survey the teachers, getting feedback on synchronous instruction. We also plan to survey the students prior to them leaving for the school year. And lastly, we are planning on surveying the parents as well. That survey for the parents will probably come sometime in the summer. There's another one that just popped up if you want me to read that, or I can wait till the end.
Question, Dr. Pepe, the results will be public on the website.
And we'll share the results. This is our preliminary jump into assessing the learning pathways for the year. As I mentioned last meeting, I don't even know where the state's going to be next year with regards to all of this. I did get an email today from the state saying that they are going to permit schools to provide synchronous instruction next year. They have not provided the guidelines for any of that, what that means. to what extent they can do that. This just came out this morning. We have a lot of discussion to do about, what went right, what did not go right. Although I think we were successful as far as keeping our students in school, there's certainly some concern, some feedback that at least we've gotten from the teaching staff about some things that they think could be done better. We're curious to see what the students have to say about how things went. And ultimately, we're interested to see what the parents have to say about how things went. So all that information will be used. My understanding is that we are probably going to be required to do a health and safety plan again next year. This is just preliminary from the email that we got today. I don't know what that means, to what extent. I don't know what the expectations are going to be next year with regards to how things were this year compared to how they'll be next year. So as I asked last month or last week, I'm not sure it was last week or last month, please be patient with us as we analyze how things are, what the expectations are going to be coming down from the state. And we certainly will make that public at the right time. You want to read the third one? And then I can read
The spreadsheet question. Third comment is from Lance and Laura Crawley, 848 Monaco Road. As the temperatures rise and the children become restless, the water fountains need to be opened or water bottles provided. These children are being forced to wear masks while outside and participating in physical activity. We need to have water available. Children run out or forget their water bottles. Water is not a luxury, it is a necessity, and this is a safety concern. Staff may be purchasing some extra, and the nurse's office has a few, but I'm certain there are not enough for every child that runs out and forgets their water. This has become even more obvious after speaking with my 3 children. Here's what we've learned after questioning them. 1, they fill up water bottles at the sink. 2, vending machines have water but aren't on until after lunch. 3, the middle school doesn't have air conditioning. 4, they do sell water at lunch for $1. 5, some days my high school student takes 5 bottles of water to school. So not only is the school not providing safe drinking water, they are upselling the water they do have. I can get a bottle of water out of the Costco vending machine for 25 cents. A case of 40 at Walmart is $3.95. That is 10 cents per water, and we are selling them with a 90% profit to our students. Please open the water fountains or provide water for all the students these last few weeks of school. I urge you to vote today on providing water for the students immediately.
So obviously the water fountains were closed due to the pandemic. That is in our health and safety plan, clearly stated the district in the health and safety plan. As far as water being available, there is water available in all of our buildings. Students are permitted to bring water from home. They are, the PTA actually purchased water bottles for children at the start of the school year in the lower grades. Some teachers have water in their room. There's water in the offices. There's water available in the cafeteria for purchase. At the lower levels, I believe they even have cups of water that if the kids ask for a cup of water during the lunch during the day, they can have it. The vending machines sell liquid as well. So, I mean, the water is available here. If someone has a concern, health concern for their child, please call the office, talk to the nurse, talk to the principal. I'm sure that we can make sure that if water is an issue, we'll make that happen. You want to read the next?
Sure. We received 2 comments on the spreadsheet. The first is Rachel Schwar, 123 York Way, Monaca. Comment: when will the school board resume in-person meetings and allow public to attend? I'm happy to address that. For the board's information, the capacity restrictions that are in place are being lifted as of Memorial Day, which will be in time for the next set of meetings in June. If the board wishes to revert back to its traditional way of holding meetings in person, there are no restrictions on the capacity limits for this room. So if that's something the board would like to do, you can certainly have that option.
I believe our intent is to open the meetings back up in June, minus something happening. That is our intent, and we certainly will make sure that that's known publicly through the website as well.
Second from Terry Phillips, 142 Mulberry Lane. Dr. Perry and School Board, as a follow-up to the questions we already asked, which are listed below. In the interest of public transparency in regard to the attestation form that Central Valley School District chose to sign, we would like to review this documentation. Number 2, what funds did Central Valley School District receive in order to be in compliance? 3, who voted to sign the attestation form, and when does the agreement expire? Why did you tell us we'd have to request a right to know in order to get this information, which should be made available to taxpaying citizens by the school district? Why are you not providing this information? Lastly, when will school board meetings go live in person? Terry and Cindy Phillips.
You want to respond?
Other than a right to know request is the appropriate way to request records from the school district, of which that attestation form is one of them. I don't have any further answer.
That's also common practice, requesting information that's been consistent.
Yes, there is a legal process to request records, and it's through the right to know process. I believe we have a link to a right to know form on our website.
That's correct.
We did address school.
Okay. All right. Moving on, minutes to approve the voting session minutes from the April 22nd, 2021, which can be found on attachment A. Do I have a motion on that? Mr. Bloom, second, Mr. King, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer report, Mr. King.
The following bills and reports are submitted for approval. A, pay bills. Number one, confirm the April 2021 general fund payment in the amount of $3,661,611.84. Attachment B. Number two, confirm the April 2021 cafeteria fund payments in the amount of $54,752.39. Attachment C. B, the report to approve the April 2021 Berkheimer report, attachment D. I'll make that motion.
Second by Mr. Bloom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board policy, number one, to approve the revised policy 626, federal fiscal compliance. That can be found on attachment E. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Zaritsky and second by Mr. O'Neill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. O'Neill, do you have anything?
We have nothing at this time.
Which brings us to Mr. Ross, education.
One, to approve the projected 2021 graduation list for the Central Valley High School. Attachment F. Two, to approve updates to the high school and middle school programs of study for the 2021-22 school year. Attachment G. Three, to approve a 2-year agreement with Caring Foundation and Central Valley School District for the school-based peer support for grieving children and adolescents. That is attachment H. 4, to approve, confirm the release time staff development requests. Conference is and the location is listed along with the individuals and the dates. So moved.
Second, Mr. Moad, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Nothing at this time. I did attend a session with Dr. Perry, Mr. I. Miller, just to get an update on where we're at with technology, and there'll be some things that we'll be sharing with the whole board soon, so.
Back to you, Mr. King, with athletics.
Number one, to approve the summer conditioning program beginning June 7th, 2021 through August 13th at a stipend of $10 an hour, not to exceed 60. Boys basketball, Brandon Ambrose. Girls basketball, Chris Rasso. Cross country, Bill King. Football, Mark Lyons. Boys soccer, Brad. Girls soccer, William Pfeiffer. Volleyball, Candace Glumac. Cheerleading, Heather Samovsky. Girls tennis, Tim Casey. Number two, to approve the medic rescue to provide emergency medical transportation for the Central Valley School District as per agreement at an annual fee of $3,400. I will assume that's for a year. Attachment I.
Medic rescue?
Yeah.
H. Is it H?
It's
I?
Aye.
Aye.
Make that motion.
I'll make that motion, yes.
Second.
Mr. Bloom, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's just an FYI for field trips. Do I have to read that? Read it?
You don't have to.
Okay. There's just a field trip. Mr. Zaritsky with Building and Grounds.
Thank you. Number one, we're looking to approve and confirm the following building usage request pending final approval from the superintendent regarding the review of the organization's health and safety plan, as well as liability waiver sign-offs. As you see the chart, there's the building, the organization, the date, and the purpose. Also, just as an FYI for everybody, that the Building and Grounds Committee did meet a couple weeks ago, did tour some of the facilities, looking at some of the summer projects, capital projects, different things like that. And a few nights ago, the rest of the board did some tours of the building just to get some updates from the building principals and the superintendent. So I'm sure there'll be updates on that coming. And I'll make a motion on item one.
Second, Mr. King. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Bloom, personnel.
Yes, looking to approve the following personnel for extended school year. ESY pending receipt, review and acceptance of all clearances. Teachers are Krista DiBaggio, Chelsea Costello, Julie Rosensteel, and Kali Azuchi for $20 an hour. Paraprofessional to be paid the hourly rate, to be determined, 3 of them. Anything else, Mr. Perry?
Just the paraprofessional TBDs. 2 of them we have names for. One of them's Eric Morris. The other one's Patty Conkle.
I so move.
Second.
Mr. Zaritsky, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ambrose, Finance.
Number one, to approve to exonerate Berkheimer from collection of unpaid 2020 center real estate taxes in the amount of $405,215.92 and penalty of $20,260.98. Victoria Leininger from collection of unpaid 2020 Potter real estate taxes in the amount of $20,828.88 and a penalty of $1,041.45. And Virginia Tobacco from collection of unpaid 2020 Monaco real estate taxes in the amount of $188,034.64 and penalty of $9,416.47. The unpaid 2020 real estate taxes have been filed with the Beaver County Tax Claim Bureau of Collection. Number two, to approve the following Highmark Health Insurance monthly renewal rates 2021-22 school year reflects a 5% increase. Obviously, you see what it costs for single, husband and wife, parent, child, and family. Number three, to approve a 1-year renewal with Guardian Dental for the 2021-22 school year. Monthly rates are as follows, which reflect a 2.83% decrease. Single, and then parent and child, husband and wife, and family. Number four, to approve a 2-year renewal with Vision Benefits of America for the 2021-22 school year and 2022-23 school years. Month rates are as follows, reflecting no increase. This is simple, single, $635, family, $12.30. And number five, to approve the adoption of the preliminary / proposed final general fund budget for the 2021-22 school year. This includes revenues of $39,837,959 and expenditures of $39,150,715. The school code mandates final adoption in this budget after 30 days following tentative adoption, and the budget to be available for public review of 20 days prior to final adoption. This budget reflects the 2.67 millage tax increase. I so move on these motions.
Do I have a second? Mr. Moab? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Which brings us to you, Dr. Perry.
I have nothing.
Okay. All right, board members, Mr. Zursky, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Bloom?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Ross?
Nothing at this time either.
Mr. O'Neill?
Just one question, more or less, about our budgeting. During our walkthroughs in the high school and the middle school, we got all the information on the expectations of HVAC systems and heating systems and, plumbing, electric, et cetera. Do we take any of those into consideration in our budgeting? Do we have any buckets of money where, for example, what was it, 20 to 25 years for the heat pump systems, which are already coming up to be replaced in the near future at Center Grange Elementary? We should save a little bit per month or per year, put it in a bucket for just these kinds of repairs. If we don't already do it, I don't know. But I'm just suggesting that if we don't do it, maybe we should start to do that so that we don't get caught short.
You want to talk about
Capital reserve?
capital reserve?
Our current capital reserve balance is $33,000. In the past years, I would say 3-4 years ago, when we were realizing positive bottom lines, we were putting transferring monies from the general fund into the capital reserve. Okay. Yeah, that's a board approval decision. The reason we stopped doing that was because we were in a negative for the last 2 or 3 years. So right now, any expense that you're talking about, Joe, would be an expense to the general fund and a hit to the bottom line.
But we don't,
Once we establish a profit going forward, it's a very good idea to move monies into there, but you have to remember, you can't move them back.
right. And I'm just trying to think ahead as far as individual buildings and systems rather than one pot of money. Can we have different baskets for each building, for example?
It will not matter. We just move the money into the
And move it?
reserve, and you can use it for whatever you want, whether it be a truck or an HVA upgrade or a plumbing issue.
Right.
As long as it's a capital item.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. There's only one
Just one.
pool of money.
and we did talk about that, and just like Mr. Malley said, that when the money was in the negative, it's kind of hard to
Right. I understand completely.
do. We talked about it, I want to say a couple months ago, about some sort of plan or percentage, and to present that to the board to see what we could potentially do and potentially use those numbers to kind of give a guideline
Right.
on what that percentage should be.
Now, at the end of the year, at the end of June, around the month of August, we'll know exactly where we stand and what our fund balances are, and we can explore that at that time.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. King?
I don't have any.
Just very quickly, I attended the Academic Excellence Ceremony last night. I'd like to thank Mrs. Whipke for organizing that. Mr. Vakovican and Mrs. Perry were in attendance. And that's for all the students, senior students that maintained a 93% or above throughout high school. And I think we should all be very proud of the fact that 40% of the senior class was in that group of over 93%. That was extremely impressive. Kudos to the students, their families, and the teachers. And like I said, I appreciate Mrs. Whipke organizing that every year. We usually do like food and everything after to celebrate them, but with restrictions, we weren't able to. But they were still able to have the ceremony.
Yeah, just one thing. Sometimes a lot of things are missed in the sports world, what our kids are doing here. The media isn't as, well versed as it used to be. So I'd like to acknowledge Miles Walker. Miles Walker at the WPIL track meet yesterday took a third place in 100 meters. And he took a first place, I believe, in the long jump, which I assume he's going to advance to the state playoffs. I don't know if he's going to do it in 100 meters, but I'm sure he's going to do it in the long jump. So I think congrats go out to him. I didn't see any other names. If there were any other names there, I apologize, but congratulations.
I think there's a number of others. Paige Drake advanced to
Really?
states, I
Thank you.
believe, Andrew Sudar,
Really?
Miles Walker. There were a number who.
Yeah.
State.
I think she finished second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they still.
Relay team.
Right on the front of the sports page.
was it?
Yes, it was.
The times today?
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was the time.
I thought they just ran yesterday.
I don't know. Those were people to watch, Miles Walker
Yes.
and Paige.
Oh,
Drake.
okay.
So,
They were people to watch,
Mhm.
but to meet
Results
with,
were in the paper.
say that again?
The results were in the paper. It might have been the Post Gazette.
okay.
Okay.
I'm done. I have nothing.
Yeah, there's another public comment.
Leah Palladino, 225 Bainbridge Drive. Was Perry's job a part of the attestation form? Was his job in jeopardy if he did not sign the form?
I'll answer this one. So Dr. Perry's job was not in jeopardy if we signed the attestation form, along with the board president. The attestation form kept your kids, our kids, in school during the level of substantial COVID. We signed the attestation form in order to keep our kids in school. That was the order from the governor. That was the order from the Department of Education, that we would continue to do the mitigation efforts and that we would follow the guidelines for closing down school should the pandemic numbers hit a certain level in the county. So I don't believe my job was in jeopardy for signing the attestation or not signing the attestation form. The intent of the attestation form was to keep our children, your children in school.
This board was behind that 100%.
And lastly, the district received no financial incentive for signing the attestation form.
I will make it clear, though, that had district violated willingly that attestation form, then yes,
And yes, it would have cost me my job.
certification could have been in jeopardy. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, if there isn't anything, may I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Moad, second, Mr. Bloom, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.